Good evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Jefferson Robbins, in for Grant Olson all of this week. Before we get to today's top news stories, we need to take a quick look outside our weather window at this lovely picture from our cross cam looking north up the Wenatchee Valley. You get a sample of the slate gray sky that we've had all day today. This is what it looks like when I think of early winter in NCW. We got some settled cold and that stagnant air pattern that's going to continue through the early part of next week. Pay attention to that because stagnant air can be a risk for people living with COPD, asthma, and other heart and lung ailments. Also, a risk to your health is freezing fog. There's a chance of that creeping in, so drive safely on your morning commute as the moisture condenses and freezes on the roadway. Watch yourselves, folks. But now a few of the stories that we're following for you tonight. A Wenatchee man is arrested after allegedly firing off a handgun inside of his home. The valley's public bus system, Link Transit, struggles with ridership and safety during the pandemic. And East Wenatchee strikes a $456,000 deal with the Chelan County Jail. But first, we begin tonight with school districts. The COVID-19 transmission in the Wenatchee Valley remains high, with 906 cases per 100,000 people as of yesterday. But the drive to return school kids to in-person classes goes on. Cashmere schools began half-day in-person instruction on Monday. The Wenatchee School Board is meeting tonight to determine whether to reintroduce third-grade students to classrooms on a limited basis. Lake Chelan schools will return their 7th and 8th grade students to cohort classes starting Monday, December 7th, with high school students rejoining them on December 14th, 1 week later. Those districts say students are struggling with remote learning, and many seniors may not qualify to graduate in the spring. Other districts are waiting for the COVID-19 situation to improve. Eastmont Schools is already teaching kids up to 4th grade in person, but it has no set date to bring back higher grade levels, nor does Cascade School District in Leavenworth. Well, a Wenatchee man was arrested early Wednesday after allegedly firing off a .380 caliber handgun inside his home and toward the street. The 41-year-old suspect allegedly discharged the pistol about 12:45 a.m. in the 600 block of Idaho Street. The gunshots were reported by neighbors and passersby. Police said the suspect turned himself in to officers after they arrived at his home and negotiated with him for about 90 minutes. He was believed to be suffering a mental health crisis. No one was harmed in that incident, but the man was cited on charges of reckless endangerment and firearms violations. Well, ridership on Link Transit is off about 60 to 65% from pre-COVID-19 days, which General Manager Richard DeRock says is an improvement over the early days of the pandemic. DeRock told Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz this week that operating under COVID-19 rules and restrictions has been a challenge for the transit system.
Transit ridership has dropped dramatically in the post-COVID world. Nationwide ridership's down 75 to 80% from what it was after the shutdown. Ridership fell March 18th by close to 75 to 80% here. It's recovered to we're about 60% of where we were, 65% now where we were pre-COVID. But even at that, we have capacity limits. Under the governor's order and under the CDC regulations, we're not allowed to have more than 12 people on a 40-foot bus. We can't have more than 10 on our electric buses. We can't have more than 5 on our cutaways, our van front style vehicles. And what that's meant is we've had to put larger vehicles on our routes that don't carry a lot of people. We've had to put extra buses on our busy routes in order to keep the capacities at what is allowed out there. Even though our ridership is down, we have to operate more service in order to keep people safe.
Now, speaking of Link Transit, a woman who stole and then crashed one of their buses in downtown Wenatchee 2 months ago was sentenced yesterday to 4 months in jail. 33-year-old Megan Rebecca Beam, originally from Baker City, Oregon, pleaded guilty in Chelan County Superior Court to charges of taking a motor vehicle and reckless endangerment. Back on October 10th, she entered a parked Link Transit bus on South Wenatchee Avenue, drove it a few blocks around the area of Columbia Station, and then jumped out while it rolled into 2 parked cars on Yakima Street. This is Beam's second crime involving a vehicle she took without permission. Back in March, she fled from 4 police agencies in a cross-valley chase, driving a vehicle that was taken from BNSF Railways. She was sentenced to 3 months in jail after that arrest. Well, coming up next, Some Republican state senators are pushing back against COVID-19 restrictions on fitness centers and youth sports, and the number of people in Washington who lost health insurance amid the pandemic is slowly coming down. I'm Jefferson Robbins, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
I have a hereditary bone disease from the female side of my family. My bone loss was so significant that you could almost see the roots. I became embarrassed and I started covering my mouth. Eating became very difficult as far as I stopped eating apples, corn on the cob, things that you just eat as it is without utensils. Dr. Divis was my dentist prior to having implants. We talked about traditional dentures or implants, and implants was the only way really that I could go. John Divis and all of his office staff, they checked on me throughout all the processes. I would never go anyplace else. Today, I can eat corn on the cob. I can have apples. Thanks to Dr. John Divis and his staff, I have my smile back. I feel more confident. I am me again.
This is John Divis. Let our team help you solve your dental needs.
Here's to 5 billion miles of amazing. 5 billion miles of...
This is so cool.
5 billion miles of helping you stay safe. 5 billion miles of passing the pump. 5 billion miles of... That's 5 billion miles driven around the world. The all-electric 2020 Nissan Leaf.
The extended range 2020 Leaf is now available at Town Nissan, right behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Welcome back. In other news tonight, the city of East Wenatchee struck a deal Tuesday with the Chelan County Jail to continue housing suspects who are arrested in the city. East Wenatchee must pay $456,000 for 2021, the first year of the 3-year contract, with 5% increases each year in 2022 and 2023. It is overall a 17% initial increase in the cost to the city, but the only alternative would be for East Wenatchee police to transport arrested suspects all the way to the Okanogan County Jail. Well, some Republican state senators are pushing back against COVID-19 restrictions on fitness centers and youth sports. 12th District Senator Brad Hawkins of East Wenatchee and 13th District Senator Judy Warnick of Moses Lake were among 11 signatories to a letter last week asking Governor Jay Inslee to scale back his pandemic rules, which have closed gyms and stopped all prep and junior sports events in Washington. The letter says in part, quote, "Sports plays a vital role in the mental and physical health of Washington residents, especially our youth." Now, the number of people in Washington who have lost health insurance amid the pandemic is slowly coming down. The state's Office of Financial Management issued a report this week showing a slow but steady decline in the number of uninsured residents. The number of uninsured hit an all-time peak in May, with more than 1 million people losing health coverage, largely due to job losses. By mid-November, that number was down by nearly half to 541,000 people, but OFM says a lot of that change comes from Washingtonians moving from employer-based insurance to Medicaid programs. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, Megan McPherson features the latest lovable adoptable dog from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society in our regular feature, Paws for Pets. That, plus weather and sports with Dan Kuntz and Eric Granstrom, are still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve. The right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Time now for our weekly Pause for Pets feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Tonight, NCWLIFE's Megan McPherson introduces us to a pup with one of the most famous names in rock and roll. I believe it's Dan Kuntz's favorite song, Meet Layla.
Hey everyone, Megan here with the NCWLIFE channel. We're here with Jenny, the volunteer coordinator at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and Layla is joining us today.
Layla is only 8 months old, so she is like sweet but very big, energetic puppy. She is learning how to sit. She is learning to drop her ball. She enjoys people very much. She is very excited in playgroup too. She goes to playgroup and plays with a lot of our dogs. But she might be a little too much for some dogs. Yeah. So I would definitely recommend if you have another dog to bring your dog here to meet her. Like I said, she's so sweet, but she could definitely benefit from somebody that can do some training with her and work with her a little bit. She's not aware of her size. Yeah. But she's absolutely gorgeous and so sweet. She did meet our shelter cat here, and she showed high excitement. So she would need a lot of training to probably live with a cat as well too. But that's about it for Layla.
And what should someone do if they want to adopt her?
They actually need to call the shelter and make an appointment to meet her. And our number is 662-9577 and set up a meet and greet. And she is ready to go today.
Perfect.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open by appointment only. Call them at 509-662-9577 to schedule a meet and greet or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
How come nobody gave the dog a mask? Now Dan Kuntz is here to enlighten us on Central Washington's long-term weather outlook. Dan?
It's good to see everybody on this Thursday afternoon. Dan Kuntz handling your weather forecast, sitting in once again for Grant Olson, and we begin our forecast with a gorgeous view from our Coles Corner camera up near the Lake Wenatchee area. And this is a perfect example of what we're going to be seeing here in the Wenatchee Valley, starting really in earnest on Friday and lasting through the weekend and into the early part of next week. And that is morning clouds and freezing fog and afternoon sunlight. And that morning cloud and freezing fog scenario usually plays out along sizable bodies of water. So the Columbia River, or in this case, as you can see, Lake Wenatchee. The morning hours, you get socked in with that freezing fog and the low clouds. Eventually the sun will climb up, although not as high as it would be, say, just a couple of weeks ago. It burns off the clouds and the fog, and we see sunshine in the afternoon. And that's going to be the pattern really beginning. It started really today. You notice there were a few more clouds here in the Wenatchee Valley today than we've had over the last couple of days. And as we mentioned already, the air stagnation advisory has been extended all the way through Tuesday of next week, a solid week of an air stagnation advisory. Cold air at the valley floor, warm air up above, no place for the pollutants to go, but still a beautiful day up at Lake Wenatchee. Dirty face, as you can see there, covered in snow. So how did we do on this Thursday? This morning it was chilly. It was downright cold, 24 degrees. Woo! As one of the coldest overnight lows we've seen in a while. We topped off at 39, just a little bit above normal, as you see there from there. Nowhere near the record high set back in the 1970s, nor the record low set back in 1985. 8 hours and 41 minutes of daylight, losing again about 2.5 to 3 minutes of daylight a day as we get closer to the winter solstice. No snow, no rain at all occurred today, and there is absolutely zero, almost none in the forecast, as you're going to see. In fact, let's go ahead and jump ahead to some of the highs tomorrow. And I wanted to mention this for the air stagnation advisory. As we mentioned, it's been extended all the way through Tuesday. Now, it's not for everybody. As you look at the forecast highs tomorrow, I have the list right here. So the air stagnation advisory is actually for the following locations. The Wenatchee Valley, Chelan, Manson, Antioch, Cashmere, Leavenworth, Lake Wenatchee, Dryden, Peshastin, Mazama, Twisp, Winthrop, Stehekin, Coconelli, Omak, Okanagan, Pateros, Rock Island, Orondo, Brewster, Bridgeport, Orville, Nespelem, Waterville, and Mansfield. Only in those communities will you be dealing with an air stagnation advisory. If you don't live in those, you're all right. As you can see, temperatures just a little bit cooler as we get closer and closer to the weekend. So again, how's this pattern setting up? Big ridge of high pressure is centered right over eastern Washington. It's right here, and it isn't going anywhere. Now, there are systems out in the Pacific Ocean that are trying to make inroads into the Pacific Northwest. It ain't happening. It's bumping into this big ridge of high pressure, and it's either going up into Canada or down into California. And that ridge is right over eastern Washington, and it's not really breaking down. It's just kind of hovering around, moving around a little bit. So the scenario is going to be simply this. In the early morning hours, 4, 5, 6 a.m., that patchy fog, maybe even some freezing fog at times, will develop. It will gradually burn off as the day progresses and the sun climbs up, and we'll eventually find our ways with sunshine in the afternoon and highs in the upper 30s. Next chance of any kind of system at all, maybe Monday, and even that's kind of iffy. What's happening is these continuing systems that are bumping into this high pressure ridge is eventually going to weaken it enough that the high pressure ridge will eventually break down and move away. But it's going to be a while. I mean, the fact that they extended the air stagnation advisory all the way to Tuesday morning will tell you that. So pretty much for everybody in the north central Washington area, morning clouds and freezing fog, afternoon sunshine. Temperatures will be topping off right around 37 or 38. And this forecast is lasting all the way through Monday, maybe to even Tuesday. And again, this is a very strong, powerful ridge of high pressure, very stable weather. Really not a lot to talk about. There's not even any snow in the forecast for the Cascades until we get to maybe Tuesday. So basically, weather in a word, stable. Not a lot to talk about. Freezing fog, morning clouds, afternoon sun. That's what we're looking at all the way through till at least Tuesday of next week. All right, so in detail, here is your 7-day weather forecast. Again, cloudy, some patchy fog. Today is going to be maybe one of the cloudier days, just a weak system. It's barely even making its presence felt. 39 for the afternoon high. Again, patchy freezing fog in the early morning hours. By 9, 10 a.m., it starts to burn off. By noon, it's gone, Johnson. So sunshine Friday, then the pattern repeats itself on Saturday and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, and quite possibly right on into Wednesday. Patchy freezing fog in the morning and some low clouds, especially near bodies of water and in lower valleys. Burns off by mid-morning, sunshine in the afternoon. That's what happens when you have a high-pressure ridge in late autumn or early winter. All right, that's your forecast. Still to come, the feature story with Jefferson Robbins and sports with Eric Grandstrup. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, you know, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Hi, I'm Kevin Prosser, and this is my print shop, Color Effects in Cashmere. Color Effects offers screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing on t-shirts, jerseys, bags, banners, signs, and more. With 30 years experience, you won't be disappointed with the quality and quick turnaround times you will get at more than a fair price. Please call Color FX.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Kerry Condada. This is the 12th District TV show, aired 8 times every week on NCWLIFE TV. We cover business and politics like no one else does it because I've been there and done it. 30 years self-employed, 16 years in the House of Representatives, and 12 years running campaigns across the state of Washington. That resume means you're getting information you can't get anywhere else. This is the 12th District. I'm Kerry Condada.
It's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Thursday to you. Gonzaga shook off a sluggish first half to beat West Virginia 87-82 in the Jimmy V Classic last night. Bulldogs freshman star Jalen Suggs went down with an ankle injury in the first half, and GU went to the break trailing by 5, but Suggs able to return in the second half, providing Gonzaga the spark it needed to outscore the Volunteers by 10 to earn the victory. Joel Ayaye matched his career high with 21 points, while Andrew Nembhard and Corey Kispert each chipped in 19. Number 1 Gonzaga faces number 2 Baylor Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on CBS. Well, don't look now, but Washington State is 3-0 on the young college men's basketball season. Cougars beat Oregon State 59-55. Isaac Bonton led the way for WSU, scoring 15 points, dishing out 7 assists, and coming up with 3 steals. DJ Rodman scored all of his career-high 13 points in the second half. Washington State travels to Colorado Saturday to face the Buffaloes at 11 o'clock in the morning. Washington, by the way, takes its 2-0 record into Utah for a game today against the Utes. Well, 25 players, 6 coaches, and even Blitz the mascot will be sporting footwear to benefit charity this weekend when the Seahawks host the Giants. As part of the NFL's annual My Cause, My Cleats campaign, players, coaches, and General Manager John Schneider will wear custom cleats and shoes that represent a wide range of nonprofit organizations and causes. Coach Pete Carroll will wear shoes to help Urban Artworks.
The program that the league has been had in order for some time now. I'm going to wear some cleats, some shoes in the game here that one of our local artists created for us, Corinne Hernandez, working with a group called Urban Artworks, has brought these to me. I think they look pretty sharp. I can't wait to put them on and wear them, and you know, whenever I'm wearing Monarchs, I'm doing okay, so this will look strong. This is, I would say that this local group, Urban Artworks, is doing a bunch of great work. They are helping young artists in terms of jobs and placement and giving them a chance to be seen and heard. We have a group that we work with. Our company is called Amplify Voices, and we've worked with them on a couple causes here. Also, Coach the Vote. We spent some time, and we're really proud to be able to represent and help a young artist be seen and be heard, and amplifying people's work is really something we're excited about. So that's what's happening.
My Cause, My Cleats will involve over 1,000 NFL players and personalities this weekend and has raised well over $100 million for various charities. Well, as the Seahawks prepare to take on the Giants Sunday at Lumen Field in Seattle, players and coaches are taking stock of special teams. Kicker Jason Myers and punter Michael Dixon are quietly having great seasons. Coach Pete Carroll says Myers is proving his weight in gold, especially going 3 for 3 in Monday's win at Philadelphia.
He's having an incredible year. He's just been rock solid. He's such a tremendous athlete for this position. He's just so well tuned and fitted to be really consistent. He's just got that makeup, you know, and he's a great worker, and he's a good competitor, and his mindset is strong and competitive. You know, the kind of competitor that you like as your kicker. So he's having a great year, and we're counting on him. It was really a clutch decision to make at the end of that game, you know, whether we kick the ball and take a chance, you know, giving them an opportunity. We just went with the continuity of our group, and the snapper, holder, kicker. They're awesome, and so we counted on him to come through, and he did again. So we're fortunate to have him.
Myers is connected on 26 straight field goals in the regular season, including 15 for 15 so far this year. Dixon is 4th in the NFL in punting, averaging 49.8 yards per punt. Bobby Wagner says he thinks of special teams as being part of the defense.
A lot of the people that kind of just watch football for the defense and the offense, they don't really understand the importance of, you know, having someone to go out there and always make the extra point, or always, you know, you're confident in them making the field goal, or you're confident in them, and, you know, if we get them close enough that we can try a, you know, 50-plus yard field goal, or, you know, even a guy like Mike where, you know, he constantly puts the defense in a great position by, you know, pinning them down inside the 10. And so, you know, those guys have been amazing for us. They've been very crucial to our success, and you know, we wouldn't be successful without those guys.
Wagner surpassed 100 tackles in Monday's win over Philadelphia, making it all 9 seasons in Seattle with at least 100 tackles. Coach Carroll says the future Hall of Famer is a complete player.
it isn't just the tackles that he makes, you know. He's a marvelous athlete, just an all-around athlete, you know, coordination-wise and timing and feel and all of that. And it takes all of those kinds of faculties to make choices in that kind of space and that kind of speed and that kind of depth and all to come through. And he just has all that. And so that's like I talk about him, and he's a Hall of Famer. He is exactly what you would hope to, you know, write up as almost the definition for the position, you know, and there's been some great ones, and he's one of them.
Wagner has a total of 1,175 tackles in 9 years as a pro, including 704 solo tackles, 64 tackles for a loss. He says he doesn't think about the possible future in the Hall of Fame. He'd rather set reachable goals based on performance.
Nah, honestly, I don't. I just try to go out there and do the best that I can. It's you know, it's like an evolution. You know what I mean? Like when I was in high school, I just wanted to get to college. When I was in college, I wanted to get to the pros. When I was in pros, I wanted to be a Pro Bowler. And then, you know, you heard about All Pro, and so you just try to set little goals for yourself and try to, you know, see if you can get those goals, and, you know, try to do it within the team, and you know, kind of control what you can. And so I can control my play, control my effort, my consistency, and everything else kind of take care of itself.
Seahawks and Giants kick off from Lumen Field in Seattle Sunday at 1:05. You can watch a game on Fox. Our week of sports begins right here tonight on the NCWLIFE channel with Hockey Night as the Wenatchee Wild take on the Cowichan Valley Capitals and a game from the Town Toyota Center last January 17th. We head to the mats tomorrow night at 7. Eastmont and Wenatchee Wrestling from Wenatchee High School. Then Saturday doubleheader of Sunny Soap and Sunny Slide, that is, and Eastmont basketball. Girls at 2. The boys follow at 7 o'clock. That's sports. Jefferson, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Good to see you again. Finally from us tonight, for a short time, it was K911 Wednesday at the Multi-Agency Communications Center in Grant County, where police and rescue agencies are dispatched to all corners of that county. Sheriff's Office K9 Edo stopped in for a visit at the 911 Dispatch Center and then tried out his dispatching skills, as you see here. Let's hope he treated callers more gently than he does suspects. Now let's do one more quick check with Dan Kuntz to hear about what he's got brewing Friday for NCWLIFE's daily morning show, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you, Jefferson. We invite you to start your weekend tomorrow with another edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. The Numerica Festival of Trees, all virtual this year, is going on right now. You can log on, you can bid on the wreaths and the mini trees and the big trees and everything that you need to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Numerica Performing Arts Center and the 20th Annual Festival of Trees. And Allie Jordan will be my guest tomorrow via Skype from the Numerica Performing Arts Center. Plus your weekend weather forecast. We'll preview some Gonzaga basketball and some football. Everything you need to start your weekend live and local, 7 a.m. tomorrow right here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Jefferson, back to you.
Thank you, Dan. That's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or on our website, ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we would like to hear from you. You can send us an email, news@ncwlife.com, or give us a call, 888-6295. That's 888-NCWL. I'm Jefferson Robbins. I'll be back here with you tomorrow night at 5, 6, and 10. Stay healthy until then. Good night.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. Join us every week as we answer your questions on health, wealth, and relationships.
We're all about you creating a life that you love, so tune in to Live It Up.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.